Beautiful. Oh, I don't know. I wasn't expecting that one. Yeah, they're just it's just so great. This is why it's so nice to not have makeup on.
If anyone gets to say, "I'll never return to the royal family," it's me, not William. Those were Meghan Markle's first words, sharp, cold, and delivered with a deliberate, almost venomous smirk during her surprise appearance on the Viva Plus live segment, filmed in sunny Santa Barbara at exactly 9:32 a.m. on December 2nd, 2025. It was not an interview. It was a full-on challenge, a declaration of defiance, a line drawn not in sand but in solid asphalt. Just 72 hours earlier, Prince William had dropped what historians are calling the most uncompromising royal statement in modern memory, ending with the now iconic line, "There will be no return." Not now, not ever, but Meghan's response, executed with the precision of a legal strike and the emotional intensity of a woman cornered, ignited a storm that no one saw coming. She leaned forward in her beige studio chair, hands perfectly poised, eyes piercing the camera like daggers aimed straight at Kensington Palace. William can issue statements. He's skilled at that, sure, but he doesn't get to rewrite my story, and he certainly doesn't get to speak for me or for my husband. Behind her, Montecito sunlight poured through immaculate glass doors, a subtle but clear message. This is the life I built, far from royal shadow games. She claimed she was forced into these actions for survival, yet her voice was far from fragile. It was ice dipped in gasoline. Meghan alleged that the catastrophic collapse of her reputation in the UK, now polling at a historic low 7% favourability, wasn't the natural outcome of years of interviews, podcasts, docuseries and leaks. It was orchestrated, quietly and deliberately, by William and Catherine themselves. "Every time the press wants a villain," she said, "they turn to me. And every time, someone at Kensington Palace conveniently releases a source quote. I've seen the pattern. No hard evidence, just implication, but the impact was explosive and undeniable." According to Meghan, the future king and queen consort had been feeding the public a narrative designed to make her and Harry permanent traitors. Her tone sharpened. "It started with a disagreement between me and Catherine. Human, normal. William turned it into war." Exactly 14 minutes after Meghan's segment ended, Harry fired back with a 46-second video from their Montecito garden, unshaven, in a plain black t-shirt. His jaw was tight, his voice brimming with the unmistakable bitterness of a man publicly humiliated. "William talks about integrity. Maybe he should look in the mirror," he continued. "Our family knows the truth of what really happened in 2018, 2019, and every year since." And then the sentence that detonated across British media: "If he wants a fight, he'll get one." Within 27 minutes, #HarryDeclaresWar was trending across the UK, Canada, and Australia. Kensington Palace sources told The Telegraph that William was furious, but remained composed, his mood described as steady, military. Catherine, however, reacted differently. A palace insider revealed she watched Meghan's segment privately just before a meeting with her medical research team. One breath. Then she said, "This is not my battle. This is noise," and she walked out with her head high. Princess Anne, informed at Gatcombe Park, reportedly muttered only, "Childish, self-inflicted, and embarrassing." King Charles, still recovering at Sandringham during his latest treatment cycle, was more direct than usual. His private comment to advisors leaked within hours. Enough of this circus. Over the next 20 minutes of the Viva Plus broadcast, Meghan systematically denied ever weaponizing royal titles. She dismissed backlash from the Oprah interview, rejected responsibility for the Netflix docuseries, disowned claims from the Archetypes podcast, and refused to acknowledge any wrongdoing since 2021. "It's convenient," she said. "The British press and monarchy twist everything I say into monsters. I left to protect my family. Full stop. It's time." Observers noted something striking. Meghan repeatedly positioned herself as the only woman in the room telling the truth, above Catherine, Camilla, Anne, even Diana's legacy. Her tone sharpened further. "I've been painted as a villain for 4 years. I'm done being Windsor's scapegoat." When asked if she regretted anything that led to William's declaration, Meghan smiled a small, defiant, almost triumphant smile. "Absolutely not. They started this. This was not reconciliation. This was escalation. This was Meghan Markle's declaration of war. Her goal, to appear misunderstood. But her track record from 2021 to 2025 told a much different story, according to a detailed review by the Royal Chronicle, mapping over 37 incidents, from interviews, speeches, and brand collaborations to podcast segments and legal filings, that directly or indirectly challenged the image, authority, or values of the British royal family. March 7th, 2021, The Oprah Interview, The Royal Rift Goes Global. Meghan and Harry accused the firm of racism, neglect, and institutional cruelty. Even later walkbacks couldn't erase the damage. July 2022, Spotify Deal and Archetypes podcast. Meghan launched with bold feminist framing, but slipped in barbed palace anecdotes, veiled digs at Catherine as the silent princess and courtier archetypes. December 2022. Netflix series Harry and Meghan, 6 hours of footage claiming they were pushed out for being too loved, too progressive. Leaked emails later revealed edits to avoid palace legal threats. February 2023, UN Women's speech in Cape Town. Meghan implied certain royal women were ornamental, not impactful, widely interpreted as a subtle dig at Catherine and Camilla. Royal aides reportedly livid. August 2024, US Vogue cover and essay, My Narrative is My Armour. Meghan accused British institutions of painting her as dangerous for being American and authentic, never explicitly naming Catherine, but making her point clear. It wasn't about crowns. It was about who was allowed to be real. April 2025, paid wellness retreat in Malibu. Trauma to Transcendence workshops sold out within hours. In her welcome video, Meghan said, I had to leave a palace to find peace. She charged $1,200 per participant while publicly claiming to heal from public exile, a bold move that sent whispers through royal circles. November 2025, leaked CNN clip. Close friends claimed Catherine had silenced and excluded Meghan from mental health discussions. That should tell you everything. It's not what of do. 9-5. Lee royal commentators noted she charged $1,200 per participant while claiming to be healing from public exile. November 2025 leaked. CNN clip. CNN aired a special segment quoting anonymous close friends of Meghan, claiming Catherine had silenced and excluded her from mental health conversations. Kensington Palace refuted the claims within hours, releasing a private memo showing that Catherine had arranged 2 wellness meetings, which Meghan declined. Then, a fake recording of Catherine, seemingly cold and dismissive, aired on Sky News after being leaked by a US-based independent source. AI analysis later confirmed it had been spliced together from at least 3 separate conversations, none of them involving Catherine. According to insiders, this was the final blow. The backlash was swift and global. In Canada, the Toronto Star published an editorial titled From Victim to Villain, Meghan's Media Machine Backfires. In Australia, The Age declared the Duchess had cried wolf one too many times. Even the typically sympathetic New York Times ran a front-page opinion column questioning her approach. Self-exile or self-sabotage, Meghan's war of words was now turning inward. In Italy, Laika reported that Queen Letizia of Spain had personally expressed her discomfort with Meghan's latest Viva Plus segment during a closed-door EU cultural conference. Catherine, meanwhile, remained the epitome of grace under pressure. Letizia was quoted, I do not strike back. That is what makes me powerful. Buckingham Palace's internal war room, dubbed Iron Quill, went on high alert after Meghan and Harry's back-to-back videos. Prince Edward was said to be disgusted by Harry's veiled threat. If he wants a fight, he'll get one. Sophie, Duchess of Edinburgh, quietly cancelled her appearance at a children's charity co-sponsored by an AWEL partner, a firm but discreet rebuke. Camilla, Queen Consort, stayed publicly silent, but was overheard telling aides, if she wanted to heal, she would have left quietly. Princess Anne, ever blunt, dismissed Meghan's tone as calculated provocation. Meanwhile, Lady Louise Windsor, long seen as the monarchy's quiet hope, posted a single cryptic line to her private Instagram, Strength is silence until it must speak. Royal insiders confirmed that Lady Louise had refused all public and private speaking engagements since October 2025, following Meghan's Vogue essay. Within days, 3 major OWL sponsors, Sunbird Studios, Lumiere Publishing, and Westbridge Wellness, quietly suspended collaborations. A Netflix source confirmed, we backed the brand, but now the brand is radioactive. Spotify, already wary after ending its AWL audio exclusivity deal, removed Meghan's podcast from its top picks within 24 hours of the Viva Plus interview. YouTube disabled comments on her latest clip within 18 hours, citing a high volume of coordinated harassment. Yet leaked data revealed 3.7 million views and 2.9 million dislikes, a public backlash journalists like Marina Holloway noted in The Spectator. Meghan came to correct the narrative, but in reality, she confirmed the worst version of it. While she dominated headlines with soundbites, Kensington Palace responded with action. On November 28, 2025, just one day after Meghan's viral Viva Plus segment and Harry's accusatory video, Prince William convened a closed-door emergency meeting in the Green Drawing Room. Attendees included his private secretary Sir Hugo Withers, Lady Evelyn Norbridge, former BBC compliance director Sir Dominic Caldwell, Royal Legal Counsel, and two senior cybersecurity advisors linked to Project Marble. The mission was clear: end the cycle, draw the line, protect the crown. The strategy, codenamed Iron Quill, centered on three pillars: media accountability, institutional isolation, and narrative sovereignty. Royal legal teams submitted pre-action protocol letters to CNN, Viva Plus, and 4 podcast distribution networks demanding internal audits of all Sussex-related content aired since 2022. While not formal lawsuits, the letters carried a clear message: if you manipulate content, we will pursue redress under UK and international defamation law. Institutional isolation followed. All collaborative partnerships between the Royal Foundation and any AWL-linked contractors were terminated within 48 hours. Even umbrella initiatives like Earthshots, climate networks, and youth innovation boards were paused for review. To maintain narrative sovereignty, the palace instructed its press office to adopt a zero-response policy. No rebuttals, no comments, no tit-for-tat interviews. "We're not interested in trading punches with an empire built on victimhood," one aide said. The monarchy would instead speak through symbolism, continuity, and presence. While Kensington was mobilising, AWL was imploding. Sources confirmed that 2 board members resigned, citing ethical misalignment. The foundation's planned holiday mental health campaign was cancelled due to resource instability. Anonymous Slack messages leaked, revealing junior staff worried about brand toxicity and fears of subpoenas. One former employee told The Guardian, "Every time Meghan goes off script, emotionally, we spend 72 hours doing damage control with donors and partners. There's no firewall between the personal and professional anymore." Amid the media inferno, Princess Catherine maintained her schedule, but with strategic adjustments. Her planned appearance at a gala for the National Children's Trust on December 1st was scaled back to a private luncheon, press excluded, cameras off. Yet a single image, discreetly captured by an attending guest, made the front page of The Times the next day. Catherine appeared in a deep navy wool coat, kneeling beside a young cancer survivor, holding a single white gardenia. Royal watchers quickly noted the symbolism. White gardenias signify truth, clarity, and enduring friendship, a nod to Princess Diana's favourite flower. No words were spoken, but the image went viral, gaining more engagement than Meghan's entire Viva Plus interview combined. Meanwhile, insiders revealed Catherine personally requested a comprehensive ethics review of all future Royal Foundation media engagements, focusing on internal protocols to prevent media manipulation. "She's not entering the battlefield," a manager said, "but she'll rebuild the walls around the family." Polling data released by YouGov on December 2nd confirmed public sentiment. 87% of UK respondents called Catherine the most trusted public woman in the country. 73% agreed Meghan's recent interviews were calculated provocations, not honest reflection. Support for Prince William's December 6th statement remained steady at 91%. As parliamentarian Helena Marsh noted, "The royal family didn't just defend its dignity, it reasserted its authority, and the public has chosen sides." As the dust from Meghan Markle's explosive Viva Plus appearance settled, a strange silence echoed, not from the royal family, who had made their stance clear, but from international allies. That silence broke rapidly by December 3rd, 2025, with ripples spreading worldwide. In Canada, once a stronghold of Sussex sympathy, Prime Minister Melly issued a carefully worded statement to CBC. While we support freedom of expression, we also recognise the need for accountability in public life, especially when narratives affect institutions held in deep regard by millions. In Australia, Senate leader Jacinta Cale went further. "We have no patience for those who profit from division. Monarchies must evolve, yes, but not through media games that weaponize emotional trauma for cliques." The real shockwave came from the Vatican. In an unscheduled press briefing on December 4th, Cardinal Leone, close aide to Pope Leo XIV, praised Princess Catherine for her grace under reckless public humiliation. The statement, by all accounts, marked an unmistakable shift in international perception. Even former US allies began retreating. The Atlantic published a feature titled "How Meghan Lost the Middle," when activism becomes personal vendetta, while the New Yorker bluntly asked, "Does the Duchess want justice or just the last word?" On December 5th, an internal Arkwell planning document dated September 18, 2025, was leaked to an international media watchdog by a whistleblower, titled Q4 Strategic Narrative Plan. Internalize only. The 12-page roadmap outlined Meghan's public re-entry strategy ahead of 2026. The language was damning. It reinforced the wounded mother archetype through carefully curated media moments. It cast William as emotionally frozen, Catherine as emotionally absent, and implied complicity through silence. Kate watched Harry suffer and said nothing. Reconciliation storylines were floated intermittently to provoke palace confusion. The document even suggested leaking controlled rumours to soft media outlets in exchange for reputational buffer coverage. The author, believed to be Meghan's former communications director who resigned abruptly on October 25th, 2 weeks before William's statement, ignited a firestorm among royal commentators. Camilla Tom of The Telegraph called it the blueprint of a palace siege, not a healing plan, while Sky News ran a special feature, Narrative as Weapon. Within 12 hours of the leak, Meghan's media machine aired clips from past interviews, comparing them to the strategy, confirming the public's worst fears. On December 7th, 2025, Kensington Palace struck back. Without a press conference or statement, the Prince and Princess of Wales attended a Christmas concert at the Royal Albert Hall benefiting children's hospices across the Commonwealth. A single image was released in advance. William in a navy velvet jacket, Catherine in a modest forest green gown, hair pulled back, no tiara, no earrings, just her wedding ring, and a silver remembrance brooch, the same brooch Queen Elizabeth II wore during her 1997 address after Diana's death. But it wasn't the outfits that stunned, it was the entrance. At exactly 7:01 p.m, the royal car arrived and the couple stepped into the crowd. Flowers were clutched, tears wiped away, and spontaneous applause erupted. For nearly a full minute, the prince and princess stood motionless, nodding once, then walked inside. No interviews, no commentary, just presence. The moment replayed across BBC, ITV, Sky and CBC, reaching over 18 million households, surpassing Meghan's Viva Plus appearance. One BBC commentator called it the most powerful non-verbal rebuttal in royal history. According to palace aides, Catherine personally reviewed the guest list, approving 3 changes and removing 2 soft press outlets recently promoting Sussex talking points. She invited young leaders from cancer survivor charities she had supported throughout her recovery. William convened a second Project Marble meeting, expanding its scope to include international misinformation. A senior aide confirmed, "This war isn't just public opinion anymore, it's digital sovereignty." Princess Anne privately sent a note to William and Catherine. "When you carry the crown, you carry the silence too. You've both done it well." King Charles, undergoing treatment at Sandringham, reportedly watched the broadcast and remarked, "That's how you reclaim history with dignity, not noise." Polling showed 91% of Britain approved Catherine's handling of the scandal. Over 600,000 new signatures demanded Meghan Sussex's title removal, and 67% of Canadians agreed the royal family acted appropriately and with restraint. Archie's reputation index, monitored by BrandTrack Global, fell 47% in just 5 days. The final word came from a quiet viral tweet under hashtag #CatherineStands. She didn't post. She didn't plead. She showed up and stood taller than any throne ever built at precisely 8:10 p.m. GMT. A new episode quietly appeared on the official Archwell podcast feed, My Truth Has No Crown. The 36-minute recording was unannounced, unpromoted, and clearly designed as a stealth counterattack. Meghan's attempt to reset the narrative collided with a tidal wave of royal support behind William and Catherine. If Meghan hoped to regain control, disaster followed. Within 5 minutes, she accused the royal family of using illness as PR cover, a jab at Catherine's cancer battle, positioning silence as sainthood while erasing her identity as a woman of colour for monarchy optics, weaponizing nostalgia to punish the future. She called William cold and inherited, labelled Catherine perfected but not real, and attacked Queen Elizabeth II's legacy as complicit in outdated ideals. It wasn't just the content, it was the delivery, smirks, passive-aggressive pauses, a tone of superior disdain. References to Catherine and Anne softened only when mentioning herself or Harry, casting them as battered survivors of a rigid, loveless system. Within 3 hours, the episode trended globally on X, but Spotify removed it from trending by midnight due to sensitive public conflict concerns. 72% of listener reviews gave 1 star, calling it bitter, deaf, and self-serving. CNN released a formal clarification distancing reporting from the podcast content. Meghan's world began cracking. Brand partners issued statements or quietly withdrew. Sunbird Studios suspended development of her 2026 wellness docu-series. WME removed her profile from their talent database. Westbridge Ventures paused charitable donations to Archwell-linked entities. Hollywood PR teams coined Markle fatigue, confirming her children's animated series project, Lily Bitt's Curiosity Journey, was shelved indefinitely due to market shifts and brand realignment. Through it all, Prince Harry stayed publicly silent, privately shaken. Attempts to reach out to Prince Edward and Sophie were politely rebuffed. We won't be pawns in another Sussex media spin. More devastating, Major Giles Tennant, Harry's former military colleague in Afghanistan, issued a personal open letter. We served with Harry, not the man reading from scripts in Montecito. He's lost his compass, denied his times of now. The British Legion confirmed Harry's annual invitation to speak at the 2026 Invictus Games launch had been withdrawn. Pending clarification of recent public conduct, one veteran summed it up brutally in a viral video clip. You can't demand loyalty when you've burned every bridge behind you. Inside the Sussex estate, things were even messier. A source close to Archwell revealed that household staff had been cut by nearly 40% in just 2 months. Meghan's personal communications director resigned shortly after her podcast went live, citing ethical conflicts and burnout. The same source claimed Meghan was furious her team failed to control the social narrative, reportedly saying, "Catherine says nothing and they worship her. I speak the truth and they crucify me." One former advisor described the atmosphere as bunker mentality, adding, "There's a sense of siege, but it's self-created." Back in London, William and Catherine remained steadfastly silent. Aides confirmed they hadn't watched the podcast or Viva Plus interview in full. Instead, William spent the afternoon reviewing plans for the Royal Foundation's 2026 Commonwealth Youth Programme, while Catherine met privately with paediatric cancer researchers at St Bartholomew's. But their silence was anything but passive. Every move, every appearance was deliberate. A visit to a Welsh orphanage, a stroll outside Windsor Castle, where Catherine accepted a handwritten note from a child. "Thank you for being strong when others try to break you." A photo released later showed the couple at home, relaxed and unfiltered, baking holiday cookies with their children. No captions, no hashtags, no speeches, but a consistent message. We're still here, unbothered, undiminished. At 9 a.m. GMT, Kensington Palace released a long-awaited document, 384 words, titled, simply, "To every woman who has been misunderstood." No press conferences, no interviews, no social media countdowns, just a PDF distributed globally via UK government newswire. Within 17 minutes, it had gone viral. The Princess of Wales began not with condemnation, but compassion. "I've learned that silence is sometimes protection, not only of oneself, but of others. But today I choose to speak, not to defend, but to honour those who cannot." She did not mention Meghan by name. She did not dissect accusations. Instead, she painted a portrait of quiet suffering and royal resilience, acknowledging the emotional toll of public scrutiny during illness. the pain her children endured, and her belief that public service must outlast private hurt. The most powerful lines came near the end. I will continue to walk with love, not because it is easy, but because it is necessary. I am the daughter of a mother who raised me in grace. I am the mother of a daughter I want to raise with strength, and I'm the wife of a man who has chosen to lead, not react. That is enough. Released alongside the letter was a single black and white portrait by Annie Leibovitz, taken quietly at Windsor Castle the week prior. Catherine stood on the eastern balcony at dawn, no crown, no royal insignia, hair pulled back in a simple wool coat. Her left hand rested gently over her heart. Observers noted the absence of tiara or sash, emotional truth over institutional power. Critics called it a modern Queen Elizabeth, against Windsor's ancient stone backdrop, eternal and unshaken. Within hours, major outlets echoed the story. The Queen, the world, chose Catherine. Time magazine's cover headline by midnight. Over 215 global media outlets republished the letter in full. A UK Gov overnight poll found 92% of respondents described her statement as dignified, presidential, and deeply moving. The New York Times ran a front-page editorial, "The Triumph of Composure Over Chaos." Parliamentarian Prime Minister Emma Bratton declared in open session, "Let it be recorded, the future Queen showed us today how leadership is done." Even Oprah Winfrey released a personal video. Sometimes we get it wrong. When we do, we listen, we learn, and we say, "Thank you, Catherine, for your grace." That evening, Meghan released one last move, a pre-recorded podcast, My Truth Has No Crown, Part 2, a direct continuation of her previous attacks. But no one was listening. Within 3 hours, 72% of listeners had given it a thumbs down. Spotify removed it from trending categories. CNN refused to air any episode, citing inflammatory language and unverifiable claims. Archwell's final 3 brand sponsors withdrew before midnight. One viral YouTube comment summed it up. Catherine wrote a letter. Meghan recorded a tantrum. That's the difference. By dawn, Meghan Markle's influence had evaporated. The platform remained, but the audience had moved on. The royal family hosted a special Christmas charity concert at St. George's Chapel, long planned, but now layered with meaning. Front row seats held King Charles, smiling, Princess Anne, upright and unbothered, Prince Edward and Sophie, Lady Louise, William and Catherine, hand in hand with Prince George. At the edge of the row sat 3 empty seats, no plaques, no ribbons, no words. But everyone knew they had been reserved for Harry, Meghan, and a child who never returned. The camera didn't linger, but social media did. No exile, no drama, no statement. Just 3 empty chairs and 1 full heart. Steady, silent, royal. UK Monarchy Watch confirmed the next day that the Royal Household Press Office issued its final line. There will be no further comment on the matter of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. The palace considered the issue closed. No lawsuits, no revocation of titles, for now, just institutional memory and royal distance behind closed doors. William told his senior aides, "This was never about revenge. It was about reality. And now it is done." Catherine's words would go on to be studied in communication courses, quoted in leadership seminars, and read at commencement speeches. But she never spoke of it again. She didn't need to. The crown and the woman who wore it silently had already spoken. If you found this breakdown captivating, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment. Stay tuned for more royal updates and exclusive insights.